Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to share with you quite a few facts about Isaac. Let's see how many of these facts you actually already know about, as well as what we can learn from Isaac's choices and his life. But before I get started, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, as well as my other videos on faith, health, and beauty all year round. So Isaac, as you may already know, is the second of the patriarchs of the Jewish people. He's the son of Abraham and Sarah, husband of Rebekah, and the father of Esau and Jacob, and is famous for his central role in the binding of Isaac when he was almost offered up as a sacrifice to God. So, how much more do you want to know about him? Because this is mainly what people talk about and discuss. Let's get started. Number 1. Isaac's story is told in the book of Genesis. The majority of the book of Genesis is dedicated to recounting the stories of the three patriarchs. Isaac's narrative is intertwined with those of Abraham and Jacob, spanning chapters 17 through 35. So a lot of time is taken to tell us about someone who God clearly deemed important. Number 2, he was the second of the patriarchs, as I mentioned. In the lineage of the Jewish people, there are three revered patriarchs: Abraham, his son Isaac, and Isaac's son Jacob, father of the original 12 tribes of Israel. Number 3, his birth was miraculous. Now Isaac's parents, Abraham and Sarah, were married for many years without bearing children, and Sarah was barren and physically incapable of mothering a child. Then when Abraham was 99 and Sarah was 89, God delivered the astounding news that in a year's time they would miraculously have a child, Isaac, and they did. Number 4, Isaac means laughter. In response to this joyful news, Abraham laughed in delight, expressing his gratitude for the extraordinary blessing, and God instructed him to name his son Isaac. Number 5, he was his mother's only child. Now exactly a year later, on the first day of Passover, Sarah miraculously gave birth to Isaac, her only child. And in contrast, Abraham fathered several other children with his concubine Hagar. And Isaac's, of course, most well-known half-brother was Ishmael, 13 years older than him. Number 6, Isaac was the first to be circumcised in 8 days. Now when God initially commanded Abraham to circumcise himself and his household, Abraham was 99 and Ishmael was 13. Isaac was the first to be circumcised at only 8 days. Number 7, he was prepared to be a sacrifice for God, and that is the famous story we know. And unlike a lot of the depictions where he's a child, Isaac was actually 37 years old. And God tested Abraham's faith by instructing him to sacrifice Isaac atop Mount Moriah, later to become the Temple Mount. And as we know, without hesitation, Abraham was ready to do it, and then God sent an angel to inform Abraham that it was a test of faith and there was no need to carry through with the sacrifice. Number 8, Isaac's wife was Rebekah. 3 years later, after him being prepared to be a sacrifice, Isaac married Rebekah, the daughter of his first cousin Bethuel. Number 9, Isaac instituted the afternoon prayer. Now according to the Talmud, Isaac was responsible for instituting the afternoon prayer, and is indicated in the narrative when Eliezer returns to Hebron with Rebekah, finding Isaac going forth to pray in the field toward evening. Number 10, he fathered the twins Esau and Jacob. Number 11, he never left the Holy Land. Now Isaac achieved the sanctity of a sacrificial offering when he was bound on the altar. Consequently, he lived a hallowed life and never left the Holy Land. During a famine in the land of Israel, then known as Canaan, Isaac didn't leave for Egypt as his father had done. Instead, he relocated to the Philistine city of Gerar, which was within the Holy Land. And he also did not marry a concubine as Abraham had done. Number 12, he dug wells. During his time in Philistine territory, Isaac devoted much effort to digging wells. He reopened his father's wells that had been filled with earth and dug several new ones as well. Number 13, Isaac was extremely wealthy. Don't believe those stories about the people in the Old Testament being poor and destitute, especially the patriarchs. Isaac was blessed with immense wealth, surpassing even the riches of the Philistine king Abimelech. His prosperity sparked jealousy among the Philistines, forcing him to relocate until he eventually settled in Beersheba. Ultimately, Abimelech acknowledged Isaac's favor in God's eyes, culminating in a visit from the king and the forming of a covenant between them. Number 14. He had poor eyesight. As he aged, his vision became deteriorated. Now, some say that God made Isaac blind specifically so that the rest of the story could play out the way it did, and others say it was due to the smoke of the idolatrous incense of Esau's wives, or to the tears of the angels that fell into his eyes when he was bound on the altar. Number 15. He was tricked into blessing Jacob. As you know, if you've watched my video on Esau, Isaac initially intended to bestow blessings upon his firstborn, Esau. Rebekah, however, arranged for Jacob to masquerade as his twin brother and receive the coveted blessings. Number 16. He was separated from his son for 22 years. Upon discovering what had happened, Esau was incensed. Well, Esau was angry and plotted to murder Jacob. And recognizing the danger, Isaac and Rebekah sent Jacob to distant Haran, where he married and raised a family. And it will be 22 years before father and son were reunited. And Rebekah passed away during that time. And last but not least, number 17. Isaac lived to be 180 years old. He is the longest living among the patriarchs, reaching the remarkable age. Now, in comparison, Abraham lived to 175 and Jacob to 147. Isaac's buried alongside his parents, his wife, and later his son Jacob and daughter-in-law Leah in the cave of Machpelah in Hebron. So how many of these facts about Isaac were you familiar with? Let me know in the comments below. What lessons can we learn from Isaac? That he remained loyal to the living God, and that he lived his life out in a way that was pleasing. He was blessed with wealth in many ways, not only with long life and good health, and with family, and with possessions. I'm sure he shared his prosperity as well, but that he also tended to have patience and not get involved in what was going on between his sons, which, now that probably wouldn't stand to be the case, but he did. And for his loyalty to God, and for him being blessed when he was made a sacrifice. He was given a long life. So, did you know that? I didn't. I was really surprised to learn that Isaac had lived that long. So, my name is Julie. If you'd like to learn about more biblical figures I haven't covered, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, continue to be happy, healthy, and whole. See you next time.